very warm welcome back. We have just understood in our last part of the first lecture the difference between what is indeterminate beam, what is a determinate beam. We also understood what is the difference between mechanics and mechanics of solid by taking one perfect example, and the other outcomes of the lecture were difference between the bar, beam and the shaft. We just understand now what is the difference between bar, beam and shaft, as well as the different types of problems that you will be encountering as and when you move to your higher semesters also. What is analysis? What do you mean by design problem and what is health monitoring problem? And thereafter we will be deriving the second order differential equation which is required to solve deflection problems. To understand the difference between bar, beam and the shaft element, I have just shown here some sketches which will clearly give you idea about what happens when each of these members are loaded. We consider this bar element. You see the bar element is always loaded axially. So the load is applied along this x-axis. On applying this load along x-axis, the consequences of loading would be either this bar may undergo tension or it may undergo compression. So this happens when the loading is axial loading, and that happens in case of a bar element. So when you come to a beam element is an element which is loaded transversely. What do you mean by transverse loading? The load is applied in perpendicular direction. Load is applied in perpendicular direction, and the axis about which it is applied is the x-axis. So we had discussed in the earlier part of the lecture also that when we apply transverse loading, the consequences would be either the beam bends like this or it can shear off. Bending will depend on the type of the beam. For simply supported, it bends this way, whereas for cantilever it undergoes hogging bending moment as discussed earlier. So the beam on transverse loading either bends or it shears. So what would be the consequences of the loading here? Bending stresses can happen or it can shear off, so there would be shear stresses generated. So that would be the consequences. Now let us come to the shaft element. A shaft element is subjected to torque, and this torque is always applied not on the x-axis like this, but it is applied on the z-axis. So when torque is applied, it has tendency to undergo twisting, and twisting stresses, or sometimes it's called warping stresses, gets generated. So that would be the consequences. So I'll summarize once again. Bar element is subjected to axial loading. On loading, it either undergoes tension or it undergoes compression. Whereas a beam element is subjected to transverse loading. It can either bend or it can shear off. And the third type of member we are discussing is shaft. The torque is applied along the z-axis, and the consequences is it undergoes twisting. So this is the major difference between bar, beam and shaft element. Now as discussed earlier, we'll move on to the next topic. You should know that as and when you move to your higher semesters and this semester you will undergo different types of problems. So one is analysis, second is design, and third is health monitoring. We'll just know difference between these two and in which category mechanics of solid falls into, that also we'll understand. So I've drawn a simple sketch for you to understand this. You can see this. So we'll assume that this is our system. The system can be anything. It can be a column, it can be a beam, it can be a shaft, or it can also be a bar element. So this is the system which we want to say design. So there will be something called as inputs and outputs. So when you say inputs, this includes the loads that are coming on to the systems. So this is our system, these are the loads which indicates the inputs. So you very well know when the loads are applied to the system, there will be some consequence of it which will give out some outputs. So this outputs, the consequences of load, the outputs that would come out of the system would be, it could be stresses, it could be strains, it could be deformations, deflections, etc. So when we know this input, system and output, now let us see what do you mean by analysis problem. In analysis problem, what happens is, please listen carefully. In analysis problem, the system is given to you. The system is given to you. You will also will be given, the inputs will be given to you, the loads will be given to you on the system. What you have to just do here is, you have to just find the outputs. The question here would be, I'll just give you one example to understand this. Say this is a beam, and for you the loads may be given on the beam, say 10 kilonewton per meter and so on. The length will be given 3 meters. Okay, so system is there, the system is a beam. The loadings are given to you, and you may ask a question, find bending stresses. That means what is asked here? The system is known, the loads are known. What is asked is the output. The output could be the bending stresses here. So this type of problem, we call it as analysis problem. We call this as analysis. So what happens in analysis problem? The system is known to you, the loadings are known to you, you have to just find the outputs. So in analysis problem, can anyone tell me what would be the output? Will it change or will it be the same? It will be the same. So the output will be, you call it as the output will be, there will be unique solution. The answers will not vary from student to student, unique solution, because all the criteria you have known, you have to just apply your concept and find a solution to this. This type of problem, we call it as analysis, and in your mechanics of solid, you will be dealing with analysis only. Okay, so second type of problem would be, second type of problem is design problem. What do you mean by design problem? So let us again go back to this and understand what do you mean by design problem. In design problem, what happens is, the system is not known to you. You want to design this system. The dimensions, the material, you don't know anything. You just want to design the system. Whether it's you design a column, design a beam, or you can design a shaft. Okay. So for which input will be known to you. In design problem, they will say that yes, this system has to carry this much load. And also, the output will be restricted, which means on putting this load on this system, the deflection should not increase more than this number, or the stresses should not increase more than this number, strain should not increase, and so on. So, there is restriction on the output. Inputs are known to you. there is restriction on the output and you have to design this system. So when it comes to design this system, the engineer has the liberty to select the material in design problem, the engineer has the liberty to select dimensions, to select material, and do all sort of optimization so that the best system is designed. So there is flexibility in design. There is flexibility in design. So in design problem, the engineer has the liberty of choosing the material, selecting the size and the dimensions so that the best system is designed. So how it is different from the analysis? How it is different from the analysis problem? How it is different? Here in analysis there is unique solution, whereas when it comes to design this will not be unique solution. There will be n number of solutions. Okay, so there will be n number of solutions, and that liberty will be that of the designer. Okay, so we have understood now what is design analysis, and I will let you know that this design problems you will encounter as you go to design of steel structures, design of concrete structures ahead in your 5th and 6th semester. So let us move on to the last problem. The third type is health monitoring. What happens? Say you build a system, you design a system, it is constructed. What happens after some years? Just to let you all know, 20 years back I was not using my spectacles. The reason was I had perfect vision. So after 20 years down the line, I started using this. So what is happening is the system is getting deteriorated. So and it requires health monitoring. So the third type of problem would be health monitoring. In health monitoring, the system is there, loading is there, deflections, deformation, stresses are happening, but what is happening is the system is getting deteriorated and hence it is not able to withstand the upcoming load in the same manner how it is to do some years back. So it requires rectification, and we have to do a process called as retrofitting and rehabilitation. So that comes under health monitoring. So you should know about NDT. NDT is non-destructive testing. Without destructing the structure, we can always find out what are the deflections, what are the stresses that the structure undergoes without destroying the structure. So that comes under non-destructive testing. You will learn this. This can be an elective ahead in your 8th semester. Okay. So now let us come back to our deflection. So in this module, we said we are going to find out deflection inside the beam. To find out deflection, we will be using two methods. One is moment area method and one is Macaulay's method. To use Macaulay's method, we need to first derive the second order differential equation of the beam. So the second order differential equation can be proved and shown it to be EI d square y upon the x square is equal to m. So to start with this, what we will do is, we will just take a small portion of the beam. You know, when beam undergoes bending, we are going to take a very small portion of the beam. We are going to take a very small portion of the beam, A, B. Okay. So when we take this small portion of the beam AB, let the radius of the curvature be r. Let the angle at which it bends be d theta. So you know that the length of the r ds is r d theta. So you get r d theta is equal to ds. That's the first equation. Now this theta is very small. This theta is very small. And hence you can always write r d theta is dx, because this ds tends to dx as theta is very small. Okay, so you replace r d theta, ds you replace with dx. So you can write this as 1 by r is equal to d theta by dx. Let us move further. So we'll write that as equation 1. Also from the geometry of the figure, see this figure? You see this figure? You know that tan theta, this is a small triangle. This is a small triangle. So tan theta is dy by dx. So you get, since theta is a very small angle, you can write tan theta is equal to theta. So you get theta as dy by dx. That turns out to be the second equation. Now we have the first equation, the second equation. Now we'll move further to derive the second order differential equation. So to derive it, this is the relation we get between the moment, bending moment m, moment of inertia I, Young's modulus, and radius of curvature r. The ratio is m by r is equal to E by r. Now you'll see from where you have got this. So this is called the bending equation, which will be derived in your unit 2, and this will be done by Dr. Shweta ma'am. Fine. So we are directly picking up this relation from that unit and using it further. So to use it further, in this equation we'll simply replace 1 by r now. We know 1 by r is d theta by dx. So we get m upon I is equal to E, instead of 1 by r, we will write it as d theta by dx from the first equation. And in place of theta, we will write it as dy by dx. So further simplifying, we'll get this E into d square y upon dou x square. So putting the equation back and rearranging the terms, we will get ei d square y upon dx square is m, which is the second order differential equation. So this second order differential equation we will then later use, and we will find the deflection using Macaulay's method. And the second method that we will be using is moment area method, which will be explained later. With this I end up my first lecture. We have covered part 1 and part 2 of the first lecture. If you have any queries, you can either email me, either put it in the chat box in the classroom, Google Classroom, or we have a WhatsApp account. If you have further doubts, you can always clarify your doubts. Thank you.